Jak 2 is one of those games that you recognize instantly. Even if you've never touched a controller before, it is iconic. It is unmistakably PlayStation. For a lot of us, myself included, we first played this game over 20 years ago when it came out in 2003. Maybe you were a child, maybe you were a teen, or maybe you were a grown man. But this game has a special place in all of our hearts. But unfortunately, I just haven't played it all the way through since the PlayStation 4 remaster came out nearly 7 years ago. This game has been on my I need to replay this list for a long time now. And with streaming being something I decided to start doing now, it seemed like the perfect time to do that. I streamed my entire playthrough live over on my Twitch channel, which you can find me at twitch.tv/Cruzhandro, or after the streams are over, you can find that stream on my VOD channel, CruzhandroV2. It was honestly a blast reliving this game with you guys in my chat, everybody talking about memories. It was perfect. I couldn't have asked for a better way to revisit this game. Now for this review, I'm breaking it down into 4 key sections: story, gameplay, design, and my final thoughts. Let's see how Jak 2 holds up in 2025. Did Jak 2 age well? Jak 2 dropped way back on October 14th, 2003, nearly 22 years ago. Let that sink in. And yet, despite the years, this game holds up shockingly well. Aside from the infamous difficulty spikes, which are still very much alive and kicking, Jak 2 has aged like fine wine. Playing it in 2025 felt just as fun, and at times even more fun than it did back then. The humor, it's still razor sharp. Daxter's one-liners had me jaw-dropped on stream more than once, and now that I'm an adult, I'm realizing just how many jokes flew over my head as a kid. Naughty Dog really slipped some spicy stuff past the radar. But what really blew me away was the world design. Games from this era like Frogger the Great Quest or even Time Splitters 2 were great, but their environments haven't exactly stood the test of time. Jak 2 though, it still looks fantastic. The atmosphere, the structure of Haven City, the color palette, it works. If you handed this game to someone today and told them it was a new release for the Nintendo Switch, they might actually believe you. That's how well the design and visual direction hold up. Is the gameplay still fun? The gameplay loop in Jak 2 might sound familiar on paper. Platform here, shoot that, punch this, nothing revolutionary at first glance. But where Jak 2 shines isn't what you do, it's how it makes you do it. This game throws relentless waves of enemies at you, mixes in some downright soul-crushing platforming, and sprinkles in difficulty spikes that are burned into my memory forever. It's challenging in ways you don't see coming, and that's what makes it unforgettable. At its core, Jak 2 builds off the original's gameplay, minus the guns. It's not wildly different from Precursor Legacy, but then it starts stacking new mechanics on top. The hoverboard sections feel like a nod to Tony Hawk, fluid, stylish, and a great change of pace. Then you've got mech suit segments, which, let's be honest, are painful, clunky, frustrating, and you'll probably hate every second. But when you finally finish those sections, you feel like a champ. My personal favorite addition, the racing. Jak 2 dropped during the golden age of arcade racers, and it shows. These segments are fast, chaotic, and ridiculously fun, even as you explode over and over again. That's right, racing has consequences here. Wreck your speeder too much, it slows down, you risk blowing up, and boom, mission failed. The tension is real, and here's the thing, Jak 2 may have been marketed as a kid's game, but there is nothing kiddie about it. I'm 27 and this game still put me in my place more than a few times. The gameplay doesn't just hold up, it puts a lot of modern titles to shame. Was the story still good? Alright, final warning, light spoilers ahead. I'll be skipping the small stuff and focusing on the bigger story beats, especially the ending. So let's get this out of the way. Jak 2's story, it still hits, and it hits hard. Yes, it leans into the early 2000s, second coming of the Messiah cliche, but it owns it. We've got time travel, eco powers, child prophecy, dystopian oppression. This game swings big and it lands most of those punches. Jak gets thrown into the future, locked up and experimented on, pumped full of eco, and basically becomes a walking god. From the opening scene, the tone is immediately darker and more intense than Precursor Legacy's breezy collectathon vibes. But what makes Jak 2 special isn't just the plot, it's how the story is told. The world reflects the story, wanted posters up, citizens talk about your actions, the city evolves and gets more damaged as the game progresses, and it stays damaged. That kind of environmental storytelling was rare back then. Naughty Dog wasn't just telling a story, they were making you live it. And then there's this twist. About halfway through, the game starts hinting that the little boy you're protecting might actually be a young Jak. And when the game finally drops that reveal, chef's kiss. Even knowing it was coming this time around, it still landed because of how well it was set up. It's not just a throwaway line, it's a moment that's been earned through smart writing and careful pacing. And then the final twist, the metalhead leader, Yeah, it turns out he was the frail old man who'd been protecting the young Jack the whole time. That reveal recontextualizes everything and gives the final battle real emotional weight. And here's the kicker. When young Jack gets sent back in time at the end, it closes the loop. In theory, you could go straight from Jack 2 back to Precursor Legacy, and it would feel like one seamless full circle saga. This story didn't just define a game, it helped lay the foundation for the kind of cinematic, character-driven storytelling that PlayStation Studios is still known for today. And if that Jack and Daxter movie ever crawls out of development hell, that twist is going to melt people's brains. This is the kind of story twist that gets talked about for years. The final verdict. Now, without sounding like a total fanboy, which I very much am, I took a step back and tried to evaluate Jak 2 as fairly as possible, not just as a pillar of my childhood, but as a piece of media in 2025. And that's not easy, because this game isn't just a favorite, it's the reason my entire YouTube channel exists. I started out covering nothing but Jak and Daxter content and theories. I've been called one of the Mount Rushmore heads of Jak fandom online. Even if you don't know my name, chances are you've seen or heard one of my theories floating around somewhere. So trust me when I say, I really tried to take off the nostalgia glasses for this one. Back in 2003, Jak 2 was an easy 10 out of 10, but times changed, our expectations for games evolved, and with that in mind, my final verdict is this. Jak 2 is a solid, well-earned 8 out of 10. The gameplay, the story, the world, they still hold up incredibly well, but the game isn't flawless. There are real issues I couldn't ignore. The input response is sluggish, sometimes fatally so. Cheap deaths happen not because of bad timing, but because the game just didn't register your input fast enough. There's no real system for dodging or countering enemy fire, you just brace for impact and hope for the best. And while the difficulty spikes are rewarding when you finally clear them in the moment, they suck the joy out of the experience. There were multiple points during my playthrough where I openly said on stream I'm not having a good time. I even resorted to save states just to stay sane. Story-wise, it's still compelling, but more predictable by today's standards. Back in the early 2000s, this was groundbreaking, but in 2025, our media literacy has grown. We've seen the Chosen One arc 1,000 times. Think Marvel movies, we know the beats, the hero wins, the twist is coming, it doesn't make it bad, just a little bit less impactful when the credits roll. To my OG subscribers, I had to keep it real. I had to take off the nostalgia goggles for this one. All that said, Jak 2 remains a game I absolutely believe everyone should experience at least once. It's not just a standout from the 6th generation of consoles, it's a standout of the 2000s, and it laid the blueprint for what Naughty Dog would become. You can see the DNA of Jak 2 in Uncharted, in The Last of Us, and I guarantee you, when Intergalactic finally drops, there will be pieces of Jak's legacy in there too. So yeah, it's not perfect, but it's damn close and it still deserves your time. So yeah, all that said, Jak 2 isn't perfect, but it's damn close. But more importantly, it's timeless. Even today, it still stands tall as one of the most iconic games of its era, and one that helped shape the future of first-party PlayStation storytelling. Whether you're new to the franchise or just revisiting it like I did, it is absolutely worth your time. It's a true 2000s classic that still punches way above its weight class in 2025. If you've enjoyed this breakdown and you're a fellow Jak fan, make sure you hit that subscribe button and drop this video a like. I got more reviews coming based on every single game that I play on stream, and I know you're going to enjoy them if you enjoyed this one for sure. If you want to hang out while I play games like this and be a part of the chat, come through at twitch.tv/Kusandra. We've got a great community, and you're more than welcome to join us. Thanks for watching. This has been a long time coming. Somehow over the last decade, I have never reviewed Jak 2, but I'm glad I've finally given it the deep dive review that it deserves. So with that being said, I've been Kusandra, try not to die, and I'll see you in the next video.